morning. Welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Tuesday, January 21st, 2014. A major winter storm is heading to the New York City area. There's expected to be about 10 inches of snow, and the temperatures are going to drop into the single digits. Another pleasant prospect in the offing. Meanwhile, in Russia, authorities are becoming increasingly nervous about the prospect of terror attacks at the upcoming Olympic Games, which begin in 10 days in Sochi. According to sources now that are being reported in major American news outlets, there's expected to be an attack on the city of Rostov-on-Don when the Olympic torch arrives there on Wednesday. So-called Black Widow terrorist suspects have been identified by names and by ages. These are widows of people who have been killed already in the fight against the Russian authorities from the Caucasus Mountain area, Islamic militants. The Black Widows are notorious because they can ingratiate themselves much more effectively into crowds because they don't normally fit the terror suspect profile. According to NBC News, there was also a report that a video surfaced showing two male suicide bombers who were responsible for the suicide attacks in Volgograd, the former Stalingrad, last month. President Putin, of course, is saying that a ring of steel has been put in place around Sochi and that there will be no terror attacks. In South Korea, 104 million credit card account details were stolen by a loan security contractor that had been brought in to ensure that the systems worked properly and could not, in fact, be stolen. The customer records were stolen from three of South Korea's major credit card companies over the course of a year, beginning in December of 2012. Over 36 financial executives of the credit card companies have resigned in disgrace. Meanwhile, in the United States, the data theft at that company Target, the retailer, has now begun to have some insurance ramifications. The insurance company Ace could be on the hook for about $30 million. This is according to Business Insurance. There's also the very good possibility, apparently, that other companies such as AIG as well as Axis might be on the hook as well. Apparently, Axis might in fact be insuring the deal for about $10 million. Ace covered $15 million as well in cyber insurance for Target, as well as another $15 million for executive liability, so they could in fact reach $30 million. There was a strong earthquake on the northern island of New Zealand on Monday. It was a 6.3. It didn't kill anyone, but it did knock out power for thousands of people. It was about 70 miles northeast of Wellington, the country's capital. There was an explosion at an Omaha, Nebraska food processing plant yesterday. It killed 2 people. The plant was owned by a company called International Nutrition. Apparently, there were significant structural damages to the plant. It collapsed the second and third floors on top of the first floor. There's no cause yet for the explosion, although, of course, authorities are investigating. Allianz, the biggest company for insurance in primary world in Europe, is saying that reinsurance rates probably will not rebound in 2014. They would presumably know. According to Amir Ahmed, the CEO of Allianz Re, he said last year's cat activity was very light. He said for 2014, the same theme of traditional and alternative reinsurance being profligate is still going to be there. We've shown as an industry the resilience we have to significant losses, so one big hurricane isn't going to raise rates anymore. Catastrophe covers for property have declined about 11% this year alone. According to Amir Ahmed, I'm not expecting anything radical for the upcoming renewals throughout the year. There's less business going into the reinsurance market, and there's more appetite from both traditional players and newcomers, and of course the claims activity is down. One place the claims activity is not down is Canada. Canada's property and casualty insurers paid out a record amount in 2013. Claims on the industry reached $3.2 billion last year after floods, hail, and ice storms caused damage across the country. This is about twice the next highest year on record and a tenfold increase from the losses sustained only 10 years ago. QBE Europe, the big Australian company, is beginning a major consolidation across its overall company as it looks to cut costs. It's talking about outsourcing jobs as part of a global transformation program that they're calling Quantum. It's going to result in jobs being sent to the Philippines, apparently. They have designated the Philippines a global shared service center. They indicate that there will be some redundancies group-wide. Meanwhile, in the French Riviera, unusually heavy rain has caused flooding and left 2 people dead and thousands without power or electricity or access to roads. The Var region of southern France has been the hardest hit, as well as the Provence area. Here's an interesting story. As you know, the Iranian sanctions have begun to be relaxed because the Iranians have stopped the processing of super-enriched plutonium. And just yesterday, 2 Iranian warships set sail from the Iranian naval port of Bandar Abbas, heading to the Atlantic Ocean. This is part of a demonstration of their ability to project power across the world. The ships that left are a logistics helicopter carrier called the Kark, as well as a destroyer called a Sabalan. They're off on a 90-day mission. In 2012, Iran said it aims to put warships in international waters off the U.S. coast within the next few years. Maybe this is one of those years. And as an afterthought, Dennis Rodman, immediately after he returned from North Korea with his ridiculous basketball show, checked into a alcohol rehab clinic. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.